One of the most highly regarded burgers in New York City is located at a Korean-American restaurant called Nowon. It's a beautiful creation and I just had to have it, but I also managed to try a good variety of other interesting dishes at the restaurant.
Today I'm here in the East Village. Right now I'm at Tompkins Square Park and I'm really excited about the dinner that I'll be having this evening, where I will be trying what is purported to be one of the best burgers in New York City. I'll be going to a Korean American restaurant called Nowon, where I'll be feasting on their legendary burger. And legendary is not just some adjective that I'm pinning on the burger, it's literally how the burger is described on their menu. But that legendary moniker seems to be justified. Since the restaurant is opened, that burger has gotten so much press and is constantly being listed among the other great burgers of New York City. And I simply love burgers. It's literally one of my all-time favorite foods. They are a staple of my diet. So I'm really looking forward to trying Nowon's offering. Plus, a lot of their other food looks really good as well, so I'm also looking forward to trying some of their other dishes. With that being said, it's about time to head to the restaurant. I have a 5 p.m. dinner reservation this Saturday night, and hopefully the burger will bring some cheer to this otherwise dreary and gray day here in New York City. Let's head to Nowon.
Nowon is the product of chef and owner Jay Lee, who opened the restaurant in 2019 in the East Village neighborhood of New York City. The establishment's name comes from Chef Lee's hometown in South Korea, which is a residential district of Seoul. Nowon is considered to be a Korean-American pocha, which is like a gastropub. For my visit, I had a 5 p.m. reservation at the bar. Now, I do feel that bar seats should mainly be reserved for walk-ins. However, I was glad that I was at least assured a seat, since when I showed up to Nowon about 10 minutes before it opened, there was already a number of people waiting to get in. The restaurant isn't very large. There are 24 seats at tables and 10 at the bar, plus there's a sort of sketchy outdoor dining setup. Inside, the atmosphere is great and a lot of fun. The music is loud and the soundtrack is mostly hip-hop. Even Nowon's washroom was a blast. After I was seated, I dove into the menu. In terms of beverages, the offerings are limited, although there's a decent selection of soju, but I just stuck with water for the night. Regarding the food, I would have went for one of the two what the restaurant calls mixtapes, which are basically multi-course set menus of some of Nowon's greatest hits. There's a 5-course one for $39 and a 7-course option for $49. To me, those seem like they offer great value. However, a minimum of 2 guests are required to select either of those selections, so it wasn't an option for me. Still, I was content with just getting the burger and a couple of other courses. Besides the legendary cheeseburger, there were some additional appealing burger options, but since it was my first time at Nowon, I felt that it was best to start with the classic. The other food at the restaurant sounded really good as well. In fact, I really want to visit the brand new location of Nowon in Bushwick, Brooklyn that even offers some pretty innovative pizzas. Anyways, after placing my order, I was presented with some complimentary chips. Now, they weren't some throwaway bar snack, they were awesome. I believe they were a type of fried wonton chips. Their flavor was incredible. The chips had nice air bubbles, a crunchy texture, and were properly seasoned. I loved them. My dinner was off to a great start. However, I was oddly presented with the tater tots that I thought I would be eating alongside my burger instead of the appetizer that I ordered. Oh well, while it wasn't how I thought my dinner would proceed, I was nevertheless happy to at least have some food in front of me. They were the honey garlic butter tots and I thought they were fantastic. The tater tots themselves were perfectly fried and crispy with a fluffy center, but it was the honey butter flavor that made the dish stand out. There was a nice but balanced sweetness along with a richness from a sort of creamy yogurt-like sauce. In addition, there was a pleasant seaweed seasoning along with sesame seeds that not only lent additional flavor profiles but gave the dish a sharp look as well. Simply put, the tots were a killer side dish. While I was munching on them, I was presented with my appetizer. I got the charred broccolini a la Caesar with black sesame, candied anchovies, and Parmesan cheese. The dish was presented with a pair of tongs, which I assume was to encourage sharing, but since I was alone, I just set those to the side. Broccolini was very tasty. I loved the charred flavors and how it contrasted to the umami richness of the Parmesan cheese. Plus, the dressing also lent even more rich flavor notes. In terms of the candied anchovies, they definitely added a visual appeal to the dish, but their flavor really didn't come through. Instead, they served more as a textural component. In terms of the broccolini's texture, it was alright. The stalks were pretty firm, but the florets were nice and tender. Overall, I thought that it was a decent dish. After finishing the broccolini, I turned my attention back to the tots. I was hoping that my burger would arrive soon so I could pair the two together, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. I wasn't going to let the tots get cold while I waited, so I ended up finishing them. In the meantime, an awkward situation arose. A server brought another bowl of chips, and it seemed like he was giving them to me instead of the woman seated beside me who had yet to have tried any of the chips. They were tempting, but I didn't want to make any assumptions and start eating something that might not have been mine. I didn't want this woman's first impression of me to be that jerk eating her food, especially since she was pretty attractive and clearly had good taste since she ordered the same dishes that I got minus the tots. However, I put that dilemma out of my mind for the moment as my burger arrived. It's an absolutely beautiful, picture-perfect, smashed double cheeseburger. The dish contained a special kimchi sauce, roasted kimchi, American cheese, pickles, and onions. I just couldn't wait to take my first bite, and it was amazing. It became immediately clear that I was consuming one hell of a fine burger. Starting with the beef, it's a custom blend of chuck, round, and sirloin with a 75 to 25 meat to fat ratio. It's cooked and smashed on a flat top grill, lending the beef the incredible flavors of the Maillard reaction. The meat also receives a bit of seasoning before being topped with the quintessential cheese for a cheeseburger, American cheese. However, it's the toppings on Nowon's offering that really makes it stand out. Some of the components like the pickles and chopped onions are cheeseburger standards, but the kimchi is certainly not. There's both roasted kimchi and a special kimchi sauce. Those are the two elements that really make the burger for me. They provided a bit of heat, but nothing overwhelming, and the flavor from both the sauce and roasted kimchi were amazing. Holding everything together was a buttered and toasted sesame-seeded milk bun. The bread was nice and fresh and kept its structural integrity against all the toppings and the juiciness of the patties. Without question, the legendary label bestowed upon the burger is well deserved. I think that it's definitely one of the best in NYC, although it's not perfect. My one complaint, and it's a small one, is that the burger's patties were too charred on top, creating an almost crispy component. If the meat was just a touch softer, then it would have been perfect. I also thought that the price was pretty fair. At $21, it's not exactly cheap, but compared to some of New York City's other top burgers like the $38 Minetta Tavern Black Label Burger or the Au Cheval Burger with everything on it, which goes for about $33, Nowon's offering is certainly one of the most affordable. The legendary cheeseburger was definitely a joy to eat from my first bite to my last. At this point, dessert was on my mind, so I took a look at the menu. There were two options, along with some after-dinner drinks. I decided to order the warm goguma pie, and I didn't have too long to wait before it was presented. It was definitely an appetizing-looking creation. The dish consisted of Korean sweet potatoes, Nilla wafers, maple marshmallow, and dark chocolate. Taste-wise, it was fantastic. Goguma are Korean sweet potatoes, and in essence, it was a sweet potato pie, but one executed at a very high level. There were different levels of textures. There was a nice firm base, a soft layer of sweet potatoes, and a creamy marshmallow topping. Getting all three of those elements together made for a truly heavenly bite. Honestly, I just wasn't expecting to have this good of a dessert from Nowon. However, the woman sitting next to me left, and those chips sadly remained uneaten. If I hadn't just consumed such a sweet dish, I definitely would have helped myself to them. I just hate seeing wasted food. Oh well, I still enjoyed a great meal at Nowon. The restaurant may be famous for their burger, but they're not solely defined by it, as they serve other great food as well. When it came time to pay, my bill totaled to $66.42, but with my tip, I spent about $80, and I thought that it was worth it.
That was one fine burger and one really excellent meal overall. I really enjoyed pretty much everything I ate. Nowon certainly lives up to the hype. The burger is definitely one of the best in New York City. It's not the best, but it's still really, really good. I mean, there are some little things that kind of keep it from being like perfect, but it's really, really good. Now, I'm still a little bummed that as a single diner, I wasn't able to get any of those set menus. They look so good and seem like a great value, but the thing with those is that it's kind of expected that you share the burger. Now, having had the burger, there is no way in hell that I'd want to share that. I mean, if I was sharing that set menu with a friend, it would probably ruin the friendship because I would probably just be eating everything. But at the end of the day, I have no regrets because I really enjoyed all the food I got. I still felt like I got good value. Although I do feel like I could have handled that second serving of chips a little better. I just hate wasting food. The chips were probably meant for the girl sitting next to me anyways, but you know, I at least should have alerted her to it because she missed out. Regardless, I had a really good dinner tonight. The burger was awesome. It really lives up to the hype. Nowon is a really cool restaurant, and I'll definitely be back.